And so the body doesn't like that. And so it usually rolls its pelvis if it doesn't have a surface that can actually absorb that and take some pressure off like the Anthros Chair can. So
wait, so this can literally defeat and combat dead butt.
Yeah, 100%. I'll take
dead butt syndrome.
all day.
You guys know what I'm talking about. The numb, the tingling, you feel like you can't get your butt to activate, your glutes are just like offline. Hey sister, you are listening to the Daily Mom Trip Podcast, and I am your host, Jessie Truelove. If you are a chronic sitter or work in an office chair, then this is the podcast episode for you. I sit down today with Ashley Wiliams, Director of Clinical Sales at Anthros, who has been a physical therapist for the past 15 years, specializing in working to help educate and develop seating solutions for the most intense sitters on the planet, wheelchair users. She has also continued to add certifications including Assistive Technology Provider, Seating and Mobility Specialist, and most recently, Chair Assessment Specialist in the field of ergonomics. At Anthros, they are taking that passion, science-backed technology, and experience into creating the world's most comfortable office chair that can actually improve your posture for all who sit. They want to evolve this space of office chairs to support the body in the right places, says science, and make people fall in love with their office chairs. Long story short, they are bringing sexy back when it comes to office chairs. This chair is HSA eligible, and I also have a code for my community that is Move with Truelove 100 off. That's also in the show notes for you to save on your Anthros order. If you sit in an office chair, you are going to love this episode. With that said, let's dive into the show. Hey, Ashley, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast to talk about the very sexy topic, office chairs. Ashley, why don't you go ahead and take a moment to introduce yourself, give us your background, education, and how you got started with Anthros, which is the company we are going to be talking about today. So Ashley, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessie, for having me on. It's so lovely to meet everyone. I'm Ashley. I am a super duper nerd. So I have my doctorate in physical therapy, and I was fortunate to know at a young age that I wanted to be a physical therapist. I knew when I was 8 years old that I wanted to help people and that I wanted to go into that field. But I specialized in pediatric physical therapy and loved working with kids. They're just special humans. And I would be doing my practice, and every day the kids would come into these horrible wheelchairs. Like they were 90 wood, covered in leather. And I would be like, the work that I'm doing is all being undone by the fact that they are sitting in these horrible seating systems. And so I developed a passion for individuals that have to sit for a long period of time. And I got so many certifications in that field. So I'm an assistive technology provider. I got the highest level seating and mobility specialist. I was so passionate about it that I ended up building my own practice to help individuals who sit for long periods of time, specifically people with disabilities. So as a physical therapist, we play a huge role in that. And I want to help as many people as possible. So I transitioned from sales, which feels weird, but it was actually amazing because then I was teaching other therapists the techniques to support the human body for a long period of time to improve their posture, improve their comfort, have them function. And now I am the director of clinical sales at Anthros. So super excited to be here. Our CEO was a developer of those products, and that I used every day. And he actually flew down for my wedding. We were old friends. He was like, "Are you happy?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm getting married tomorrow," as he's climbing up in a tree, helping us set up for a party. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm happy." He's like, "What about work?" I was like, "Work is fine." And then he just left it at that. And I'm like, "Okay." Comes back 2 weeks later and he talks about Anthros, and Anthros is an office chair. And I was like, the world does not need another office chair. There's 1,000 office chairs out there. And he's like, "We are truly doing something different." And I looked at the chair and I'm like, wow, I was like, that's crazy. And he's like, and instead of I'm working with a disabled population, now we get to work with the other 97% of people who sit and give that love and care and technology in the form of an office chair to the world.
So you didn't just come from physical therapy. You came from helping people that sit for the majority of the 24 hours of the day.
18 hours a day.
That is a lot of sitting. I mean, that's like so much experience jam-packed into what Anthros has become, right? I mean, you're not just like a normal person sitting in an office chair that goes to work and then goes home, right? You are helping people that are in their chair for the majority of their day and their life. And that, you've definitely found a message through helping those people. It just gives you so much more experience than any other office chair, it feels like, because office chairs are made for people that sit in an office, right? Not for people that are not with the science and the experience of having somebody that's sitting for the majority of their day. So that's like just already puts you guys apart from the rest of all of the office chairs out there.
Yeah, the way that we look at sitting is completely different than the rest of the world. We look at sitting and improving their comfort and these technologies that are very different than what's currently out there. So we're looking forward to bringing it to that space to do some good for the world.
Okay. All right. So you get connected with your friend who's like telling you, are you happy at your wedding? Which was like, come on, he could have chosen a better time, but but maybe best friends are just like that. Okay, so then you find yourself kind of getting involved with Anthros, and how does that story look? What does the story of Anthros really look like?
So I came on a year after Steve's idea. So 4 years ago, he developed seating products for individuals with disabilities, right? So we'd be at trade shows and you'd have therapists sitting on the products and they would all say, I wish my office chair felt like this. I wish my office chair felt like this. So after a few years of that, he's like, well, I guess I should go and make an office chair. So being from a different field, he's like, what are office chairs like? Like what's out there? What's the competition? So he and Eric, our CMO, went to NeoCon, which is like the biggest furniture show in the US, and tried hundreds of office chairs. And we're like, they're all missing it. They can be aesthetically pleasing, but they're missing some basic components of how you support the human body for a long period of time to reduce pain, improve comfort, improve posture. He's like, they're all missing it. And so he got a bunch of us together, and it's 4 years from now to where we are here. So kind of just taking that technology and the expertise that we all have as a team, and there's occupational therapists, there's engineers, there's a lot of smart individuals at Anthros that are coming together to bring this product to the market for the world.
That's incredible. I'm sure my Amazon Basic chair was there, and I'm sure you would have sat on it and said, it's missing it.
No, doesn't pass.
I always get questions about my dang chair because I focus so much on posture and pelvic floor, and I work from home. So I like fit all these bills, right? And then they're like, hey, what office chair do you have? And I'm like, I don't want to tell you. Like, I don't want you to have my chair because my chair is not the most comfortable, right? It looks nice because it's white and puffy and, whatever. And it's like, but man,
what's it doing for you?
Yeah, it's not doing anything for me. I was going to say, it almost gave me a blood clot when I was super pregnant, but I was sitting in my chair for so long in January, which is like fitness Super Bowl, right? And so it was a lot of sitting for me. And oh my gosh, yeah, I was like, I need to go get an ultrasound on my leg now. So yeah. And that just, all the pressure from your chair, you just like can't even like put all the pieces together. Like this is sold as an ergonomic, good for you, comfortable chair. And it's just like, why? It must be me, So
the most overused word in the dictionary is ergonomic. They just slap that
so I was just
onto
gonna
a
say,
product.
What makes the Anthros different from other ergonomic office chairs that make similar claims? Because I was literally, in prep for this podcast, I went and looked up, like, if I was somebody looking for an office chair, just what do I need to look for in an office chair? Just Google that. And it comes, there's 1,000 posts on it with 1,000 chairs. And, Anthros isn't on those lists yet because it's not even, you can't even get one yet. They're like all in production and custom and like extremely special. But it like all of these things, it was like the cheapest ergonomic chair and the most expensive and the this and the that. And it's like with a headrest, with arms, with lumbar support, like what makes Anthros different compared to other chairs that are claiming ergonomicness?
Well, from the inception of Anthros, we actually used true science. So we used virtual human modeling, we used university testing, we used everything that we come from in our industry, because in working with disabilities, you couldn't say that something was the world's best until you actually proved it and you had the evidence to back it up. So from the get-go, 100%. Our chair was designed with science in mind and how you support the human body for long periods of time. And we don't have a lumbar support. A lumbar support is not how you support the human body, right? So if you think of your spine as like a building, okay? So you have the super tall building and where is the most stable part of a building? Is the concrete base. That is the pelvis. That is where, in order to be in the seated position, you should have a pelvis support to lift and properly stack your spine. A lumbar support is if you were pushing in on the 5th floor and supporting everything below and above with just that one smallest cross section of the spine. So even the biggest office chair manufacturer in the world has gone on record and said the issue of pelvis support is something that we are ongoingly trying to solve, because they know they're not doing it, but that's what the Anthros brings to the table, is an amazing pelvis support, independent back system that adapts to multiple humans, as well as a pressure relieving cushion so that your butt doesn't go numb, irregardless if you're pregnant, whatever. So that's what we bring to the
And,
table.
I think you touched on something really important there. The companies know that they need to change this, but I feel like it's hard to make that change if the world's not ready. People are looking for lumbar support because that's what they've been told they need. So if you're saying I don't have that, they're like, well, that's what I need. So, I'm not gonna buy something without lumbar support, because all of the best selling office chairs have lumbar support. So the fact that you guys have gone in and dove in head first with the research and the science is like blows everything else out of the water. Like you can't really like fight that, So
you can't argue with science.
Right. And like the building analogy is just like, that makes so much sense. Why would you come in on the 5th floor and push in on it? That just makes the whole building go out of whack.
Lift this up and keep it all into a beautiful stacked alignment so that you have really good disc spacing so that your muscles are balanced. It's completely biomechanically wrong. And we know we have a lot to overcome, because that's what the whole industry has been pushing with designs that are 30 years old, but we have the science to back it up.
We just need to get the word out.
Yeah.
So maybe you already touched on this, but can you tell us the myth that we've been sold about lumbar support? Is there anything else to that piece? Because I feel like the building analogy was like really great, but like maybe even just explaining the difference of how the pelvis support from the Anthros chair is just superior than all of this lumbar support that we've been sold.
Yeah, so I think lumbar came about, right? So in order to have a neutral spine, you need to have lumbar curve, right? So you need to have that nice rounded forward portion of your lumbar spine. And so I think that's where lumbar support is there. We know in order to keep the spine proper aligned, we need to push here, we need to have lumbar curve. But what the pelvis support does is it not only stacks everything else, but it stacks it from the base by inducing lumbar curve, not pushing on it, but creating that, which then naturally aligns everything else. So biomechanically, they're just off. And we have the research, we have decreased disc pressure showing that the pelvis support is superior to even standing, less than standing. So I can get into some of the science if you'd like to see some of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the visual definitely helps.
How is Anthros different, right? So we just don't say that we're science backed like our competitors. We actually prove it. So whenever we were designing Anthros, we used all of these technologies, existing research, our expertise, and more importantly, virtual human modeling. So virtual human modeling is what they use like to test if like a cardiac valve is working, right? So as it's going through the testing, this is what virtual human modeling, a lot in automotive. So it's a science-backed technology to let you know what's actually going on the inside of your body as a result to what's happening on the outside. And this is a video showing kind of like, all right, we end up in this posture. I know that when I'm not supported, I end up in this slump posture every single day. And that's causing compressing your discs, causing low back pain, causing muscle imbalances. So see how this low back pelvis comes in and actually lifts that pelvis, induces that natural lumbar curve, and then reduces that disc space. So
you just skip the lumbar altogether.
Yeah. So instead of,
wow.
Yeah, I'll forward that forwards. You don't need to push on that small cross section. It's biomechanically not an advantage, and it would be painful if you were to actually trying to lift the bottom of the building and the top of the building. You wouldn't tolerate the pressure that's required. So that's why we have an open 2-part back system, and then it adapts to different body shapes as well. So Sitting doesn't have to be the new smoking if you're doing it right. We actually have virtual human modeling that shows that we have less disc pressure with Anthros than you do in standing. So standing's 0.5. And if you watch this, the blue disappear, that's that decreased disc pressure that's happening in the lumbar spine. And we come in at 0.32, and 0.32 is way better than slump sitting at 0.65. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, your back called and said you need a new office chair.
My back, literally.
Literally. So we're also registered with the FDA as a product that can improve posture over time, which is pretty amazing backing that we kind of have proof of here. So how can we be better? How can we give the power back to our customers to give them that ability to improve their posture? Because we know poor posture is the end of the world, right? Like you're exhausted, you go home, you're trying to pick up your 1-year-old and your back hurts. Like we want to be able to have your back when you're sitting and you're working to where you can go and live your life with less pain and not have to stress out about it.
This is incredible. This is like such a game changer because you can do all of the right exercises in 30 minutes and 40 minutes, and you're essentially undoing it and you're going to progressively get worse because you're sitting for much longer than those exercises, right?
Like
and then even with those exercises,
effects.
Right. Yeah. And it's so, that muscle length and tension relationship, like you just can't undo 8 hours of sitting in 30 minutes of work. So this is just such a great way to foster, and you're saying it right now, foster better posture over time. Like that's incredible. What a amazing claim to be able to have.
Absolutely. And I think, you were talking about crazy month of January. Think about, you're a new mom, you're like trying to get off, you're trying to lose some weight, you're trying to get back to your best self. You're sitting like this. When you go to work out, you're having those same muscle imbalances. That's going to
100%.
actually place you more at risk for injury because you're adding strength to dysfunction. So,
I mean, that's so true, especially if, just with the population that I work with, which is mostly prenatal and postpartum women that have tried everything. They go do the beach body, they go do the HIIT workouts, they go back to boot camp. And it's exactly that. They're adding strength to dysfunction. That's just going to reinforce those negative patterns or habits that they already have because they're not doing enough to undo those patterns, undo those habits and muscular imbalances. But the fact that if you go to work and you're sitting for 8 hours, you can actually foster all of that change while you're sitting. It's incredible.
It's like a workout, not workout.
Right.
For your health. You just have to sit there and get good posture. Hey, Nugget. Oh, she's cute. You talked about overcoming lumbar support and our competitors and how there's so many office chairs in the space and which one to choose from. So after Anthros was designed, we participated in the first university testing that actually compared all the industry leading office chairs on measures of comfort. So we were included in that study at the University of Pittsburgh. We're like, we think we have something great, but let's put it to market. Let's, go and do this test and have these measures, which are ISO test measures, which are nationally standardized measures of comfort. Let's see what happened. We got these are the largest office chair manufacturers and gaming chairs, right? Think about gaming. They're sitting for 12 hours grinding on a session. So we were included in the 10 chairs in the study and the results were
Who even knew that there was
insane.
This type of test out there? Who even knew? Nobody sees this information when they go shop for an office chair. I can guarantee you. Nobody is looking at this research.
Because they don't have any. Like you go to any of the big four and you say, I'd like to see the research behind your chair, and they don't have any. They have very limited. And what they've tried to do, they were like, oh, you're shifting in your chair, you're getting more blood flow, and you're actually shifting in your chair because you're really uncomfortable. And they've spun it into saying that it's more blood flow, but that's neither here nor less. That's research doesn't lie.
That's literally me.
Yeah, you're fidgeting.
Look at that.
Right?
So yours is all blue. There's literally no pressure.
No pressure. So this is in the seated plane. So like you talked about with your butt getting numb. So peak pressure is like your sit bones. When you're sitting upright and you're trying to do your best and you're sitting in good posture, they are pointing straight down into the cushion. And so the body doesn't like that. And so it usually rolls its pelvis if it doesn't have a surface that can actually absorb that and take some pressure off like the Anthros chair can. So
wait, so this can literally defeat and combat dead butt.
yeah, 100%. I'll take dead
Dead butt
all
syndrome.
day.
You guys know what I'm talking about. The
Oh
numb, the
yeah.
tingling, you feel like you can't get your butt to activate, your glutes are just like offline. It's because you've been squishing them for 8 hours every day. And then you go try to do a glute workout and it's like, no, we don't exist here. We
No.
we don't know how to activate anymore. That's
Your
incredible.
30 minutes a day is not doing anything that the
Yeah.
8 hours did. It's hard to touch it. You want to do good and you can't because you've been sitting like this for so long. So
Yeah.
we ranked number 1 in all of the tests for within the seat for comfort. So I can
Wow.
send everyone, if they want a copy of the study, we are happy to show all of that, or they can come to our website, anthros.com, and see the study there. But in that peak pressure, which is that blue, that's 66 versus the world's leading office chair at 184. And that's the high
That is
pressure
incredible.
that's going onto your bottom. And that's mesh. And we are foam and we're contour foam. And we've got some really cool wizardry in there to get this down. So
that's amazing. Yeah, we will add all of those links and everything. I'm going to do a blog post on this too, because all of the visuals are so helpful to just show like how much of an impact this chair can have, you know, and like just seeing these graphs and stuff I mean, it's a huge, it's huge in helping people make the jump, you know?
Yeah. And it's knowledge is power.
It works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
knowledge is
100%.
power.
When you know more and you know better, you do better.
Yep.
And when you just don't know, you just don't know that you can do better.
Yeah. And people have had chairs and they're like, oh, I like this chair, but you know, it's hard to know if you're going to like the same thing. There's some basic biomechanical principles of how you support the body, and the Anthros chair accomplishes that. And the other ones have mesh, which is going to be super, you know, it's breathable, but your butt is going to be on fire at the end of the day because of those high peak pressures. So
my butt is literally on fire right now. I have one leg crossed underneath me. I'm literally breastfeeding this human because the movie, I guess, was just not cutting it. So my butt's on fire already. And I don't sit for 8 hours a day, you know, so it doesn't take 8 hours for you to feel the effects of a bad chair.
Oh yeah.
So as a DPT, what is it about sitting in regular office chairs that aren't Anthros that is so awful for us long term? What is the constant sitting doing to our posture and doing to our spine? So we just got all the information, all the research based on the positive effects of Anthros, but I guess maybe with your DPT knowledge, tell us what is happening to the spine. Why is our butt on fire? Why is our back hurting so dang much, you know, from these office chairs?
Absolutely. I think it's best to show you visually. So I'm sitting in Anthros
right,
right now, but I'm going to show you another office chair. And I'm just going to prop up the camera just so you can see kind of visually what's happening. So in order to have the best posture, right? So you're talking about your butt hurting. So in order for your, you know, to have best posture, you need to have that pelvis not here. The pelvis needs to be here, right? In this upright, beautiful stacking posture. But it matters what you're sitting on. So if you're sitting on something hard, that pelvis is going to naturally, those IT bones that you're driving straight down, you're going to slouch because it's going to subconsciously move away and tuck them underneath so that you don't have the pain that you're feeling in your butt. So it starts here and then the rest follows. And your posture is always going to, when we're working, we're always going to find a position of rest, right? We're putting in a spreadsheet. We're here and we're like thinking about it and we're like really focused. Like even if I'm here, I have no space here to the back. So I have no support. So it's all on my body. But the minute I start working on a spreadsheet, I'm going to forget about it and I'm going to find a resting posture. So in this posture,
your body is very smart, right? It just intuitively wants to take the path of least resistance.
Oh, she's smart. And this is you're resting on your ligaments. So like you have no muscle activity, maybe a little bit in your abs, but you're resting on your ligaments and you're focusing on work. So the difference in obviously this chair with Anthros is that we support you here and come to meet you here so that you can rest in this position and then get to go on work. So it starts at the seat And then it's the subconscious nature of your body wanting to seek a position of rest for posture. So
Totally. So I guess that, with that, having that support at the top too,
mhm.
just like kind of to add on this, once I started to figure out who you guys were, I started getting ads, which I'm sure if my community starts looking at this chair, which they're going to, I get the questions about office chairs all the time, just like the position you were just showing us where that you're in that kyphosis and you're tucked under with the posterior tilt, it just forces so much pressure down into pelvic floor, right? And you feel heavy at the end of the day, especially with my mostly mothers community. And so I get the question a lot, like, what chair is good for this? Because I feel so crappy at the end of the day. I have to sit, whether I'm breastfeeding or whether I'm, going and working. Like, there's just a lot of sitting in motherhood, whether you work away or work in the home. And so I've seen chairs. I'm not gonna say any names because you're probably gonna get an ad for them already. But the chairs with just the bottom, right? And the claim is strengthening your core. Right? You're going to strengthen your core because you don't have all of this support around you. So it's just basically this little base that you swivel around on. And I was thinking, in theory, sounds like possibly a good idea, right? But after talking to you, literally after talking to you about that chair specifically, or chairs like that, with that claim, you just answered that question again. It's like an ab exercise. You're thinking about it. And then when you're not thinking about it, you're going to find a position of rest. You're going to fall into your habits. You're going to fall into, that more slumped and just kind of resting posture. So I think the fact that
tried. I think they tried and they had a little bit of pelvis support in there. And that's, it's kind of cool for active sitting, but you're correct. You're gonna get into something.
8 hours.
You're
not going to be thinking about how you sit.
No, not at all. Sadly.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's super helpful. And then, so for takeaways for today, I've got a chair that I've got a customized Anthro chair coming. People that are looking at this chair, they got the chairs that they've got today, and they're going to look at the Anthros. They're going to customize their chair. It's going to come when it launches. What are some takeaways today to improve and fix our sit? Okay, what can we do for best practices at a desk? You have a lot of experience with like the gamers. They're literally at a desk. So it's like a perfect kind of segue for us, is like people that are sitting at desks, whether they're gaming, whether they are working on a computer, whether they're a stay-at-home mom with their business. What are some things, what are best practices for desk posture? Like with the feet, with the angles, supports, what can we do today?
Absolutely. So the cushion is super important. So if you find yourself getting that butt pain that we're talking about, dead butt, put a cushion on there, like a comfy cushion online, because that's what's going to kind of cushion those sit bones. So when you are sitting in that upright posture, it's going to take some of that pressure away and kind of induce you wanting to stay in that posture and it prevent the pain a little bit. I think something that's really important is the height of your desk. So feet flat on the floor is not, that is another myth that we are going to break, because we want to educate and empower you guys. So it matters about where your surface is, right? So I'm 5'6". If my desk is 30 inches and my feet are on the floor, let's just look here. So my feet are on the floor. I'm doing this thing here up here if my feet are flat on the floor. So this is not the best practice that we want to go with. We want to get a footstool, something like that, and then you raise up to get to the height of your desk. So your upper body is really, really important. I don't think it's something that we think about. So you want to have that upper body nice, and you want to have these elbows kind of at 99. So sorry about that. The where we want to have our arms is we want to kind of be at this 90-90 spot. So we want to be looking at our monitor, right? And it should be eye level or a little bit below. And then we want to be in this resting posture, shoulders back, elbows by our side. We want to be kind of as close to the desk as possible, right? Because we want to access this. We don't want to be out here. We don't want to be reaching. We want to be right here in this space, because this is kind of the natural body where all of our muscles are the most balanced.
Okay. So I've also heard to like bring your keyboard like into your lap, but is that a fix, or we just want to come up to the desk? So because in the lap is kind of like weird.
Yeah, it's kind of a preference. It just depends on how, like, if your elbows are back and it's in your lap, or you have one of those that pull out from your desk and they're here,
Uh-huh.
in your elbows, that's not horrible if you feel comfortable that way, as long as you're not constantly looking down at your keys and getting that
Right.
neck flexion,
Yeah.
like, because vision controls a lot in sitting. So if your screen is down and you're working on a laptop, your head's going to be down, your body's going to be down.
Right.
If your screen is up here, your vision is going to be here and your head is going to be up. So this I feel like we're in a posture pandemic right now with our cell phones and tech neck and just
Oh
sitting
my
here all
gosh,
day
yeah.
long. And so anything we can do to help
Yeah.
combat that, I'm here for it.
Okay, and do you have thoughts on sitting with your legs crossed like me? I do this all the time. How bad is that?
I don't think it's
I s-
horrible as long as I wouldn't do it all day, right? Because then you're going to
yeah.
get shortening and lengthening in other areas, which will create muscle imbalance. But you're doing that to protect your IT bones because your cushion is too hard. That's why.
Uh, so
And it also
we want to
stabilizes your
see.
posture too.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
just don't do it all the time.
Just don't do it all the time. Just not
Just
a
like
whole lot.
anything, right? It's just like mix it up.
Moderation.
Mix up
Yep.
moderation for like literally everything. That's just, too much of one thing is like not a good thing anymore. Even too much of a good thing. So
Yeah.
the chair. You're gonna have to do
Absolutely.
this. The people on YouTube are gonna see this. And if you're on the podcast, I'll be sharing on Instagram and YouTube, but
All
let's
right.
get a sneak peek.
Let's do it. So sitting on it currently. This is one of the wood back versions that we have. So this is the gray, but we actually have real wood specimens, and this is the white chair. So I'm gonna back this up a little bit so you can see the whole chair. Get this super propped up. So now you can see we have the lower back pelvis here, not a lumbar support, and the upper back is here. So we have adjustment knobs. So I'm going to show you how these guys move independently. So there's adjustment knobs down here. So as I adjust this side, this one is going backwards, this one is going forward. So this is for pelvis support, but also for independent body shapes, right? So we're not all the same shape and size. So we're really inclusive to be able to adapt to any different types of shapes of humans. And then the upper back, same control on the other side. And watch that go forwards to meet you, forwards and backwards. So it's kind of mimicking your spine, right? So you're not having to be forced to be in one and adapt to the chair that you're choosing. This chair actually adapts to you. Exactly. Amazon. You're an Amazon.
There's no options in my chair.
So we teach
and
people,
it's just like so beautiful.
Right? So we teach people to get that pelvis up. So this is the basics of the cushion. I'll show you some sneaky stuff. So those IT bones go right here, and we have these cutouts. So if you look at my right knee, I'm kind of like where your IT bones would be, goes right through here. So they're actually floating with these domes. So that's why you have less pressure on your bottom and less pain.
Gosh.
So
Who
I'm
would
gonna
have
get
thought?
in.
Like, hello.
I'm gonna get in
Golly.
because the people that are designing these chairs didn't come from a space where sitting was life or death. Anthros came from a space where you could really do some harm to individuals if you didn't get it right and you didn't position them right. And so get this pelvis up here. See how I have this space here, like multiple other chairs? You don't ever touch the back of your chair, right? You're always sitting forwards. You're always holding your body up, falling into these postures. But now that I have my pelvis up, I'm going to adjust this upper back to come and meet me.
And then you tilt backwards too. It's not like the whole thing just moves.
So your posture maintains the same, right? But instead of recline, the whole thing stays together. And then this posture, you're actually using gravity to your advantage. You're taking away, your body weight actually reduces by 10% in that tilted posture. So that's less pressure, that's less muscle fatigue at the end of the day. It's keeping you from doing the things that you want to do. That's what that tilt feature can also do and keep you in that same posture.
You're literally defying gravity.
Yeah.
Come on.
Literally. And then this actually decompresses the spine with this hinge and kind of helps remind our bodies that we need to be opened up throughout the day. You can do stretches in it. You can do all of that, but you have this freedom of motion like in other chairs. Your chair, no offense.
Fine.
Yeah. It's large, it's large, but you have all this range of motion to where you can get these elbows back, like we talked about, right? I can get these elbows
Right.
back. I could bring I could bring this guy right here if I wanted to do it here. And my
Yep.
screen is right there. My elbows are by my side.
So
Perfect.
can you talk to me about armrest? Because I'm not sure if I chose armrest with my chair or not.
So armrests are free with Anthros. So you may want to
Okay.
try them and you can take them off. So it depends
Okay.
on, it's a personal preference. This is I have a version that doesn't have arms because it's beautiful. It looks great in the home. We're not going to have bulky armrests. I'm going to use my desk for support, right? But you can
Okay.
also, we have armrests as an option as well, and they move in and out, up and down, and they are specialized custom
So
to match your forearm.
it's so interesting because even in, you just don't know until you know. Like, I'm like, okay, let me get my feet flat on the floor, right? But then your desk is like at the worst height literally ever. And then, so like for me, I could raise my chair up just based on what you just told me, like by like a lot of inches. And then I'm like, okay, well, now my feet are dangling. I'm 5 foot. But this feels even like more comfortable,
Yep.
And also
You
I'm
should.
not like looking up like this at this big computer screen when I'm lay down here. So, but that now my feet are dangling. So now I need a footstool. Now I
Now
need
you
a
need
little
a
base.
footstool. Yep. And in the meantime, there's a free one that comes with every Anthros. In the meantime, just throw a
Stop.
box on there. Just throw
Wow.
it on
Okay.
there. Put your feet on there.
That is okay. So that's like so helpful. So the feet being flat on the floor is a myth.
Yep.
We actually need to meet our desk where we're at, where
Absolutely.
it's at. And
Yep.
you need to elevate the feet to meet where you land at your desk.
Exactly.
And armrests are totally optional and
Yep.
not needed. And this big giant headboard behind me, we don't want this because there's not enough room for activities.
Right. And it may
Okay.
it may actually push you forwards, right? Because it's just back there, and it could push you more into that slumped posture versus getting
I
that
need these
erect
chairs to get
posture.
launched faster because now I'm very aware of this harm. It's literally harming me.
Absolutely. And I think it's important. Like, we have a product, yes, but we also want to teach people about their body and their posture. So we have blog series. Like, we're really coming to this space in a holistic approach to educate you about your posture and why you may be feeling the things that you're feeling,
And I
as
think
well
that
as
helps people
providing something
make
cool.
right at 100%. I think giving people more knowledge and education around something empowers them to make empowered choices and to make educated decisions.
Yep.
Because, like, could I ever see myself spending $1,200 on a chair? Like, no, not with any education, not with any knowledge as to why that chair is going to literally change my life versus having this Amazon chair that's like white and puffy and it looks like a headboard, but also I have dead butt, like but then once we give people knowledge, education, and the proof of how it's going to change your life, I think that helps people. And I think that's why like having the blog post and having your fix your sit, the guide that you guys provide, it's like giving people the tools empowers them to make the choices to change their life, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? You have to give people the chance to make that choice for themselves, right? And it's hard to do if they don't know why they're doing it. And
Yeah, it's
I've
like a
seen that,
mattress.
so many. Yeah, sure.
It's like a
that could be a
mattress.
whole
You
nother
invested
story.
a mattress and you're laying on that for hopefully 8 hours. But it's the same thing with the chair. You really should invest in your health, because you're actually could be doing more harm to your body than you
Right.
realize.
Yeah. That is like such a great comparison, because I feel like whatever people are doing with their office chairs, a lot of people, like for us, like we have a mattress that was very expensive. It doesn't do us any good. I feel like there's something wrong with that thing. I literally wake up like I just ran into a brick wall, and I'm like, why? Because I don't have any knowledge or education around mattresses, and I'm about to change my life with a new office chair. So maybe I need to have somebody about mattresses come on the podcast. Maybe mattresses should be the next thing that you guys do, actually.
Maybe.
Yeah,
You
because
never know.
that's another place. It's like, and I always tell people when they're trying to heal postpartum, right? They're trying to fix their pelvic floor dysfunction. They're trying to reconnect with their body. It doesn't happen overnight. We're undoing things that undoing patterns and habits that we've had for years, right?
Yeah.
And it takes time, and it's really hard to unwind that stuff because it's what you do most of the time. You don't have to have perfect posture all the time, but it's where you land the majority of the time that's going to be either doing or undoing your damage. So the fact that people are sitting for a lot of time of their day, if they can foster a better posture and foster more, better alignment, then, why not to harness that? That is a place that you spend a lot of time. It's worth an investment because it's going to change your life. Who wants a dead butt? Me.
Nobody wants a dead butt, or those rolled shoulders compressing your diaphragm, allowing you, keeping you in that sympathetic state, right? Like you need to have those shoulders open, right? Shoulders open, open your rib cage, be able to have that breath to where you can help take care of everything else below that. It's so important.
100%.
So important.
Posture totally impacts how we feel, and if you are spending this much time here because you work 8 hours a day and you're like this, you're going to leave your workplace and you're going to feel like this, you're going to feel down, so like prop yourself up, girl, let's go. So I love the fix your sit. I love what you guys are bringing to the space, and you guys are making office chairs sexy again. Like you guys are doing it. Yeah.
Bringing sexy back.
I never thought it'd be a topic on the pod, but I'm glad it is. So I'm going to ask you a question, and this is like, finding your, I always say, I found my message through my mess, right? And it really aligns with this. Why do you care so much about people in pain? Because that's a mess, right? How did you find your message? Why do you care about people that are in pain when they're sitting?
I think, you're going to go there. It's okay. We're ready. I'm ready. No, I'm kidding. I have such a deep passion, A, for helping people and leaving my mark on the world, but B, for people in pain. At a young age, my mom was in a car accident, right? Fender bender, not a big deal, but she developed chronic pain and fibromyalgia as a result of that. And those were the days where there was nothing she could do. They just said, here, have a bunch of medications. See, they didn't give her any empowerment or any control or any education over her body to adjust her diet, to look into exercise. And she was succumbed by the medical industry of just taking pain medications. And I saw what that did to her, and she did her best, and she was amazing, single mom. Like, I love you, mom. You did it. But I think that people that are in pain, if you can empower them and educate them as to why do I have headaches? Why is my low back pain sore? And try to be like, this is why. Here's something you can do. Here's a tool to kind of give that control back to those individuals who are suffering so much. That's my life's work. So I want to give the control back, give them a really cool product, but then teach them the why they may be exhausted at the end of the day, why they don't have the energy to go out with friends and participate in their life, that there really could be something in an office chair. It's the way that they're sitting all day long that is really limiting them from being their best self.
Well, that's incredibly moving. You definitely found your message through your mama's mess, right? Like, and that can be so powerful. And it is. Look at what you're doing. You are a part of what I expect to be a big movement happening in the office chair industry. Not only that, but people are like, so many people are working from home. It's like more people are sitting in office chairs more than ever before, and your product has the ability to really change lives. And I think we're really going to see that. And that's taking something that was obviously a negative, right? Your mom got injured and really, suffered in a lot of ways. And you took that and making it your life mission to make sure that people know that there's other options out there, and you don't have to take the only advice of medication and being in pain. It's not your only option. And it doesn't have to be with surgery, and it doesn't have to be, with over-the-counter meds. there's holistic ways to support your body. And you guys are doing that, which is really, really incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah. What is your advice what is your one piece of advice to the community that is Daily Mantra? So I have a lot of moms, a lot of women, kind of navigating motherhood, business, sisterhood. What's one piece of advice that you would give to this community? It doesn't have to be chair related. It can be any type of advice.
No.
Life advice.
Life advice. So I have this daily kind of something that it's like, I guess a mantra is what you would say, but anytime I'm approaching a task, right? Like I've got something I need to do in the next 2 weeks, right? May it be I'm gonna redo the room, the baby's room, like we're gonna redecorate it, right? So I always begin with the end in mind. So what are the goals? What are the steps to get there and make it something, even if it's work related, you're like, I want to be successful. That doesn't make sense, right? Make measurable
Right.
goals along the way and then devote your time to it. Like if you know that if you give a lot of yourself, you can get it done in 2 days, get it done in 2 days. Don't be sitting on TikTok,
Yeah.
scrolling for 4 hours, like stay focused
Yeah.
on that task at
Scroll of
hand.
doom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stay away
because
from that.
the end is amazing. It's done. You can cross it off. So begin. I mean, I love some TikTok. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not addicted. You have to have a healthy relationship with TikTok, but
Everything in
um
moderation.
everything literally beginning with that end in mind and knowing the beauty of being done with it helps you stay a little bit more focused along the way.
Um, okay, and where can people find out more about the Anthros Chair and resources around fixing our sit, which is like the catchiest on brand little slogan that you guys have. I love that. I almost said it. Fix your sit,
Yeah. It
sit, like
makes you have to
sitting.
pause for a section a section and be intentional
Yeah.
about it. So our website is www.anthros.com. On that website, you'll be able to find access to our blogs. You can download your free copy of your Fix Your Sit guidebook. So we have that available, as well as see more of the chair. We're across multiple social media platforms. So we are on YouTube, as Anthros Chair, same thing as Instagram, and same thing as Facebook. So go and stalk us, sign up to get our newsletters and our blog posts as they come out, and just get a little bit more educated. There are small things like we're shipping in May. It's coming a little bit at a time, but there are small little things
Yeah.
that if you think about and your posture and maybe have your significant other snap a pic of you in the middle of your workday. So just to see like, because we probably
Yeah.
don't even realize the postures that we're falling into throughout the day. But once you see that visually, you're like, wait a minute, that's not what Ashley and Jesse said. Okay, I need to get my pelvis up. I need to get my shoulders back. There's things that you can do in the interim to empower yourself and improve your posture.
Absolutely. That it like touches on something that just like a coaching point, like having people see it, like do what I'm asking you to do in front of a mirror, because sometimes what you think is happening is not
Oh,
what actually is
it's
happening.
not at
And having the
all.
visual can be so helpful. You're like, no, I have like pretty good posture when I'm at work. And then yeah, I'm assuming that photo is very enlightening.
It's
That
I think
midday posture chair photo.
it's so bad. And I think of, the older ladies who are all hunched over or Quasimodo. And I'm like, okay, our bodies will adapt over time. Like, I go vanity, also health, but I don't want to be hunched over whenever I'm 70, losing my
You're allowed
ability
to have
to
all the
function.
reasons. Yeah, you're allowed to want to look and feel a certain way. And it is not vanity. It is self-care, right? And we know that posture affects how we feel. You want to feel good, you
It
want to look good,
does.
they go hand in hand. So it's very related to holistic healing. Looking and presenting and walking a certain way will
Confidence.
directly impact your confidence, your emotional state, all of these things. So and you touched on diaphragm and sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And so you're touching on all of the important stuff. And I just loved hearing and seeing everything that Anthros is about, everything that you guys are bringing to the space. And I can't wait to share more about it. I'm going to have all of your resources in the show notes. We've got a discount code. Also, some insurances will cover Anthros Chair
So
in some
yeah,
ways,
so
right?
it is HSA and FSA eligible. So that is once you have those through work, and you
Mhm.
FSA, you have a certain amount of money each year, and then it re-ups. HSA depending on your plan, but Anthros is eligible to be used that as an expense for HSA and FSA. And some plans require a check with your plan administrator. Some require a letter of medical necessity, and we have a physician on staff that can help with that if you need it to remove the barriers.
That is incredible. Ashley, thank you so much for your time and knowledge and passion around people that sit and helping us sit better and sit longer without pain and showing us all of the science. I think it is so incredibly impactful to know that there is so much good behind this chair and real research that can back all of the claims that you have. And just thank you so much for your time. And I can't wait to share more about it. And I can't wait for my chair to come in because I'm just over the dead button. This Amazon thing, we're going to have a bonfire outside. We're going to be roasting some s'mores over this thing.
Right. And every Anthros chair you buy, a portion of those profits go back to the disabled community all over the world. So
come on.
Doing good for you and you're doing good for someone else. Spreading the love.
Amazing. Yes. Ashley, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Jessie.